What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. I am your host, Murpho, a.k.a. Mike Murphy, and I am joined by my co-host and bro,
DMurph, a.k.a. Dennis Murphy.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about wrestling and video games today, because that's what we do every week on every episode here on the Super Grapple Bros, a podcast. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. I don't know why I'm in this mood.
I don't either.
Camera went on. I was talking perfectly fine like 30 seconds ago, and then the podcast came on. We started recording. Now I'm just being weird.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the wrestling we get to talk about this week. I'm surprised you're acting like that.
Yeah, because the wrestling was kind of kind of mad this week. Not bad. But not like really astounding or great. Yeah. By the way, I totally forgot that the PlayStation thing is in the charger over there, to the side. It's in the charge station and falling. Okay. Cool. Yes. Got to make sure that we get our universe mode in. Anyway, as we said, the wrestling this week was kind of meh. Not really too great. We're gonna get started with Raw. Not just that Raw, but my Raw. We're going to switch over scenes. Booyah. Well, actually, I'll switch over. I hope this is right. Booyah. Yeah, hotkeys. We got Monday Night Raw going on tonight for me. It is the day after our first pay-per-view that we did together, Extreme Rules. Mm-hmm. First matchup, we got John Cena versus Brock Lesnar renewing the rivalry. Then Kofi Kingston and the Ascension are renewing their rivalry, the New Day and the Ascension, in a 2-on-2 tag match. Then Bayley's got a promo one day after, I believe she failed to win the women's championship, the Raw Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. Then we got tag champs in action against Enzo and Big Cass. Then Bayley's going to go up against Sasha Banks, but also Tamina Snuka, who's sniffing around her first part of action in a triple threat match against Bayley and Sasha Banks. And then this next match, it has Samoa Joe in it, but I'm replacing it with Rusev because Samoa Joe is a SmackDown superstar. So it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Rusev. Then we got, Rusev is here. So I got to figure somebody to face off against Sami Zayn. So good going me. I don't want to do Baron. You know what? Sami Zayn versus Rusev, Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins. There we go. Nope. Braun Strowman. That's what I was looking for. Braun Strowman. There you go. I get Braun Strowman and Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin confused sometimes, and part of that has to do with the fact that Sami Zayn was in a rivalry with Strowman on Raw, then went to SmackDown and feuded with Corbin, and Corbin and Strowman almost have identical gimmicks. So, and then the main event for my Raw tonight will be Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens facing off against Shinsuke Nakamura and Austin Aries. Shinsuke Nakamura has enacted his rematch clause to face off against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at the next pay-per-view. Austin Aries wants a shot at the Intercontinental Championship again. Owens doesn't want it. He wants to be able to pick who he wants. So, the stipulation for this match is, if Nakamura and Aries win, Shinsuke Nakamura will get to pick the match type, the stipulation for he and Roman Reigns, and Aries will battle Owens for the championship. If Owens and Reigns win, Reigns gets to pick the stipulation in his match with Shinsuke, and Owens gets to pick his challenger at the next pay-per-view event. Alright, so that's what I'm doing in universe mode. I'm going to make these changes. We're going to go here. Wait a minute.
Hotkeys, huh?
Hotkeys. Oh, no. I was the right hotkey. It was the right hotkey. I was just pressing the wrong hotkey. Blah, blah, blah. Tongue twister. Anyway, from fictional Raw to real Raw. While I finish up this card and get things on the simulation train, why don't you tell us how Raw went and how it started off?
Badly. The end.
All right. But general managers, special general managers.
Yeah. So the show started off with Kurt Angle not being able to make it to Raw, so he apparently called up Dean Ambrose and said that Dean Ambrose would be the special guest GM for the night, basically, and was coming out saying that he's going to put on a good show. And then The Miz came out saying that he got a call from Stephanie McMahon saying that she doesn't want Dean to ruin the show and made him co-acting general manager of the night, and was an interesting promo, I guess. The main thing that was interesting to me was the fact that they finally brought up Stephanie McMahon doing stuff again, apparently.
I'm sorry, who's that? Who? I don't remember.
That trash bag hoe.
Oh, wait. Memory banks. Searching. Got it. You mean that chick that went through a table at WrestleMania?
Yes.
Okay.
Also known as that chick who got speared the previous WrestleMania.
Yes.
And this future WrestleMania will probably get dirty deeds.
Possibly.
But yeah, it was a kind of bland promo in which it was just basically setting up matches for the night. And led to the first match announced for the night of Finn Balor versus The Miz, which was a decent enough match. I enjoyed it until the end, where it was basically Miz throwing Balor into the ref and then being like, oh, as the general manager, I can't allow superstars to touch the ref, so I'm going to have Finn Balor disqualified, ref ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. And then Ambrose was like, no, we're not doing it that way. Restart the match.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, and then Balor won, and it was just kind of like, oh, that wasn't totally predictable
that
or anything.
That was a thing that happened? I mean, from what I remember, it was a decent match. It was just, shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shenanigans to build rivalries.
Yep.
To build the rivalries, so nothing much to say. Also, you didn't talk about the whole Strowman Kalisto thing in that promo.
Oh, I forgot that they had come out during that.
Yeah, Strowman came out and apparently hurt his arm when taking off that ambulance door.
I think he actually hurt his arm looking at the Coliseum with Roman Reigns over the weekend. There were several pictures of the two of them hanging out together, and a lot of memes of when you ain't done with the guy yet, but everyone's got to take a vacation.
Yeah, whatever. Wrestlers can hang out out of shows. I have no problem with that. Let them live their lives and do it, and then do their own thing in their free time.
Yeah.
It's just a TV show in the end, and they're all just actors. So let them be able to enjoy their lives when the cameras aren't rolling.
Yeah.
And by cameras, I mean WWE cameras. I don't mean civilian cameras or their own cameras taking pictures.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special.
He basically just came out. Kalisto came out, said he would beat him. I think Strowman said, I can beat you with one arm, tied behind my back or whatever, because he was only one-armed. And Ambrose was like, oh, good idea. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, Strowman started off saying that he'll fight him again when he's not injured, and then said that he could beat him with one arm anyway. So Ambrose was like, all right, we'll make the match. And then when the match went to... Oh, we'll get into that when we get to the match, but... Yeah.
Well, we can go to it now. We can double back to the Divas match, or the women's match if you want.
I mean, there wasn't much to the women's match, so...
Yeah, the women's match is pretty much Mickie James is now, I guess, opposed to Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss is now with Nia Jax, which I think is an interesting pairing. Echo, you shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Echo.
I don't know that.
You don't know how to shut your mouth? I'll unplug you. That'll teach you real quick. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, so it was cool. It's cool to see Nia and Bliss basically doing some pairing, and it was kind of cool. And Nia's kind of like, I'll be your muscle just so long as when you're done with Bayley, I get a shot at that women's championship.
Yeah. I could see them extending that story for longer anyway, and I feel like it's gonna play out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And so Alexa and them through trickery won, and Bayley was once again let down. And Echo, I see your light on. Shut up. Turn off. Yeah, that's right. You learn your place.
Bitch.
So yeah, that was the thing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wrap before we move on to the Strowman and Kalisto match itself. I'm gonna rapid sim because we're gonna try and get through this real quick. This one. There we go. Learning the hotkeys still. And I'm going to rapid sim through here to the main event, and I'm going to start playing the main event while we go through the rest of Raw. So we got John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar defeats John Cena. The Ascension. Look at that.
Ooh.
Winning and getting momentum against the New Day. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Bayley. She got interrupted by Asuka, so it seems like Asuka might still want a number one contendership shot. So
nobody is ready for Asuka.
Well, definitely not Ember Moon because she got hurt. But we'll get into that when we talk about NXT. Yes, so it looks like we're going to have Asuka and Bayley battle for a number one contender match. Hardys won their match. And Tamina putting herself in contention potentially with a victory over the women's champion and Bayley. And then Sami Zayn defeated Rusev. Seth Rollins defeated Braun Strowman. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with this match right now as we continue with Raw.
Okay. So, whatchamacallit?
Strowman and Kalisto.
That's right. Strowman versus Kalisto. Basically started off with Braun Strowman just stating that he's not going to take the match because he's injured, and goes to walk out of the ring, and then the ref decides to ring the bell with that for some strange reason, and then Strowman just turns and kicks Kalisto and just beats on him until Roman Reigns comes out and starts beating on Strowman, and they fought for a while until Strowman retreated to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of weapon use and stuff, but
Yeah. So it was essentially, it was a thing.
it was the usual.
It helped build Kalisto, I guess, as the next, as the next Rey Mysterio, like ultimate underdog kind of thing, because he got the crap kicked out of him, even though he's still got fight left in him.
Yeah, except for the fact that he got the crap kicked out of him, and then Roman Reigns came out, and then it was, where did Kalisto go? I don't know, he's just gone.
Oh, well. Yeah. And, oh, man, speaking of which, WWE was on the European tour this week, and they were in London, the O2 Arena, and oh, man, did they shower Roman Reigns in boos when his music went off.
Yeah.
I was like, why would you pick London to be the time when he would return? Wait another week until you're back in the States. The only other way I could see them being like, well, we got to do it now in London to keep the storyline going is if next Monday they're in, like, Chicago. Because it's like, those are the two crowds you do not want Roman Reigns to have, like, some sort of significant return or victory in. Because they will eat him alive.
I mean, not just London, though. Pretty much any major city outside of the United States, you're going to get that kind of reaction. Because you think about it, in any of those
Because it's
countries,
a crazy crowd where they boo the faces and cheer the heels.
Yeah. More like it's the crazy crowd where the diehard wrestling fans who finally have a chance to see WWE live take advantage of that and want their voices heard.
Yeah.
But
man, did they boo the crap out of him. Holy
they
hell.
did.
Like, I watched that and I heard that and I like Roman Reigns.
I do too.
I don't like the way he's been booked, but I like the man and I like his wrestling ability. I still think he's one of the best in the business, in the WWE, in the business. It's just, I couldn't help but chuckle when I heard those boos, because, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They tore into him. And, like, based on reactions, like, I think what they're just going with right now is I think they're doing, it's two guys who hate each other, and they're going to have Strowman talk a little more heelish and Reigns a little more face-ish, but they're just going to be like, it's two guys who want to kill each other. Let them cheer and boo whoever they want.
And it'll lead to a match at Extreme Rules, I'm sure.
Yes.
And then maybe one of them will finally be able to face Brock Lesnar to get that done with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it'll be Roman, but I would love to see Strowman versus Roman, though.
Ooh, that reminds me
Or
of something
Strowman
I wanted to
versus Lesnar.
mention. So, I saw the message go up, I think it was as of Wednesday. As of this Wednesday, both Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar have officially violated the 30-day rule of holding a championship.
They both have?
Both of them. Because
Nah.
Orton
They
wouldn't
have to vacate. They have to vacate. You did it, Daniel Bryan. You got to vacate.
Yeah, basically. But it's usually up to the general manager's discretion. But I just thought that was funny.
It would be entertaining as hell if the crowd at the next show knows that and starts chanting 30-day rule. 30-day rule.
Yeah.
30-day rule.
Anyone going to the next Raw and SmackDown, you hear this? Please do so. Because, yeah, I mean, I just find it funny because it's the two top titles in the company. Your two top champions have not defended their titles in more than 30 days. What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, next, speaking of titles, was the Tag Team Turmoil match to determine the number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles. And it featured a lot of different teams. I believe it started off with Cesaro and Sheamus versus... who was it they started off against?
I can't... They finished against Golden Truth.
Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, Enzo and Cass.
They started with Enzo and Cass, then they fought... who was it after that?
It wasn't Gallows and Anderson was second to last. They went through 4
Yeah.
teams, didn't they?
Yeah.
Rhino and Slater.
Yeah, they went through Rhino and Slater. Then they went through Gallows and Anderson.
They
and
almost
then,
lost to.
Yeah, then they went through Golden Truth. And it was basically, okay, so you just killed your entire tag team division except for the guys who are now going to be challenging the tag champ.
Not really. Enzo and Cass, I guess. Rhino and Slater, you could argue. But
not so much Gallows and Anderson, but the rest of the tag teams.
Well, no, not really, because the way that Golden Truth lost, they had the good promo before the match to help build them up, and then the way they lost is they came within inches, and Sheamus and Cesaro had to win via quick roll up to basically steal the victory by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, but they still could not pull off a win against a team who had literally just had 3 matches in a row, basically.
I know, but they did have the momentum, and it was just barely did they win. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I thought it looked alright. I thought it made Golden Truth look good. It didn't hurt Gallows and Anderson. I think they still look strong because they beat the hell out of Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah. But teams like Rhino and Slater, it was basically, they take out Rhino, beat on Heath Slater. Rhino goes get involved, take out Rhino, beat up Slater, and that was it with that. So, didn't really do too good for the first SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's mainly, in my opinion, Golden Truth, just because their promo was all about, we haven't had the best win-loss record. This is our chance. We have to seize it. And they come in last and face a team that came in second, having to face 3 other teams, and they still lost.
Yeah.
I understand it was a quick roll-up kind of thing, but it's still the fact of this team just fought 3 other teams, and you still could not pull out a victory.
Yeah, but also, to be fair, you're also trying to build up. I understand what you're saying. I'm just thinking from a psychology standpoint, from trying to make Cesaro and Sheamus look like legitimate threats to the Hardys. Yeah, they beat them up after the match last week or 2 weeks ago at the pay-per-view, but they lost. I should pay attention and actually play the match instead of get beat up. They each lost a singles match against their respective Hardy 2 weeks in a row, and then they lost the tag title match. So you gotta make them look strong and putting them and having them go through the rest of the tag division and then beating up the lone survivors.
Yeah,
It's probably good. Why is Shinsuke is starting with red health?
that's maybe
Injury.
it was injury from the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
because Roman Reigns speared him 4 times.
Yeah. Right.
Alright, but yeah, that match did what it did. After that was Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe, which was ended by disqualification, I believe, if I remember correctly. And it was basically a continuation of their feud that has not ended yet. And that's basically all that match was.
As with who?
With Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah. Well, no, that made Joe look good though. Joe.
No, I'm saying it made him look good, but I'm saying the main thing of it was extending their storyline. It was a decent match. It wasn't a great match. Joe looked good during the match and after the match, but it was just more or less a matter of, all right, here's something to continue the storyline so we can bring it to the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So,
But Joe looks strong at least.
oh yeah, but also, I have the opinion of it's kind of hard to not make Joe look strong.
True.
Like I said, it did a good job with what it did. It was one of the few things, in my opinion, that was really good about Raw. But, it's just, we just saw it on, at, what was it, Payback? We just saw them fight at Payback, and now we see them fight again, and it was the same kind of just continuation of them beating each other up and having a, not clean finish and everything, so.
Yeah.
It did its job. And then after that was TJP. They're not even calling him TJ Perkins anymore, just TJP.
I kind of like that.
I like it
Everybody
too.
calls him TJP as it is anyways, so does it really matter?
No, I agree with you. I like it. I'm just pointing out that was a change. TJP versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher, which was a good match, as you can always expect from the two of them.
Yes. Yes, it was.
But,
And it was good on WWE, by the way, on giving the win to TJP, because he's been real ever since he lost the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah, he's been kind of floating.
Yeah, he's been like just in the wind, like nobody knows what to do with him. So good on them for making him look good.
Yeah, finally doing something with him. I mean, it's about time they start doing something with their cruiserweights, because, I mean, with 205 Live, at least, it's been stale for a while with kind of
But that
weird
Alicia
storylines.
Fox angle is so hot.
No, it's
I'm sorry. The Alicia
Don't.
Fox angle. Alicia Fox. Ooh,
I'm
nobody
still
hung that
upset
over.
about that, just for the idea of, okay, so you're treating this woman as an object for a storyline. Good job, WWE.
Yeah. Yeah.
In which, speaking of Alicia Fox, she was in the following match, Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox.
Yes, she was. Which Sasha Banks won, but they made it look that, like, even though Sasha Banks won, it seemed like Alicia Fox was acting like Sasha kind of stole the win almost.
Well, that's what they were pointing out, is if you
Yeah.
watch the replay, she did, in fact, get her shoulder up at, like, 1.5, and the ref didn't notice and kept counting anyway.
So maybe they're trying to build a whole Sasha versus Alicia Fox thing. Maybe start the slow burn for heel-tude for her.
I would not... Well, I mean, Alicia is already considered a Fox with all those...
Fox? Yeah, she is considered a Fox. That's her last name.
Considered a heel by all the stuff that she's doing on 205 Live. But, I mean, I'm happy if that's what they're doing, because, I mean, they're doing something with that, with her. It gives Sasha something to do, and could only get good things out of that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia gets to do something other than just be someone's arm candy. Sasha has something to do for week to week, so it's all good.
Yes.
And then, to round off Raw, we had the main event of Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, which they
Dino
delivered.
Ambrose in another match with Bray Wyatt that felt like it did not matter at all.
It was still a decent match, though.
Yeah, it was decent. It was just... Oh, look, Randy Orton backbreaker, but from the second rope.
Yeah. It was just something for Ambrose to do, and something for Wyatt to do. Kind of like how... What was it, a few weeks ago, instead of it being Enzo, Cass, and Seth Rollins versus Gallows, Henderson, and Samoa Joe, they had the attack on Enzo so that way they could get Finn in. It was a similar kind of situation of, well, it's something to get them on TV.
Yeah.
But one thing they did announce during the night is that this upcoming week on Raw, we will see Dean Ambrose defend the Intercontinental Championship against The Miz. In which, how do you think that match is going to go?
What's the match again?
Dean Ambrose versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship next week on Raw.
Miz will probably win it via some shenanigans from Maurice. I don't think it's changing hands unless there's like a pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, Dean is currently the champion, so...
Yeah. Oh, 450. Well, that
That
was an
was,
interesting 450. He did all kinds of turns.
Come on, ref.
Come on, ref, make the count. Oh. Wow! And Kevin Owens... Does Kevin Owens actually want Austin Aries again?
I think
he kind of just stood there and let Aries pin him.
I think he just kind of liked watching the match.
Shh, I'm trying to bring storyline into the game, damn
You know
it.
what, Austin? That was such a good 450. I'm just going to let you have this. I'm just going to stand here and admire your work. Shinsuke, why are you hitting me? Come on.
I mean, look at that. Technically, from a storyline standpoint, that's kind of... Jesus Christ, that 450. Technically, from a storyline standpoint, that's kind of cool. If he comes in, he's like, I'm just going to let this happen. I want Austin Aries again.
No,
then
I know what it was. If you look carefully, he was staring straight at Austin's package. That's what it was.
Really? I mean, I know he's got a great package.
I'm just saying,
but
that's what it looked like.
You really have to go there.
That's what it looked like.
So many people get distracted by Aries' package because it's such a good package. It's a great package. It's the best package.
Sure. Some would say the greatest package to ever be.
So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura will get to pick the stipulation, which we will find out next week because I haven't thought of it yet, and I need a week to come up with it. And Austin Aries is going to battle for the Intercontinental Championship again. So next show we are on to SmackDown, which I will transfer
it down
over so
live.
you can make your card.
That
yeah.
brought us to the end of Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw is now over, and we are moving on to SmackDown Live.
Woo!
Live, baby, live. Live, baby, live. Actually, hold on 1 second.
1 Mississippi.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Why is that showing up? Yeah, we're gonna move on to. God damn it, was Elgato? No, that's Logitech. No, that is. No, that's okay. No, I'm seeing stuff. Anyway, moving on to Tuesday Night SmackDown Live. I almost said Thursday Night SmackDown Live, like we were back in the year 2001.
Yeah, basically.
It started off with a promo where I'm trying to remember who came out first. Was it Randy Orton? Was it Randy who came out first or Jinder?
Yeah, Randy came out first.
Yeah, Randy came out first. What was he? I can't even remember what Randy was talking about.
Just about how it wasn't Bray that beat him in the House of Horrors match. It was
Jinder.
Jinder.
Don't you hinder my Jinder.
And saying that he was gonna, take him out at the pay-per-view or something or other. Yay.
And then Jinder Mahal came out and he's like, I don't need like, you want to know how I know I'm going to be champion? Because I took these photos, like something along those lines. And it was like, oh, look, glory shots of the championship surrounded by, being held by massive veins.
Yeah, this
massive
is
bulging
what
veins.
the future is going to hold.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo.
And then he was out with the Bollywood boys, not the Singh brothers.
Yeah, seriously.
The Bollywood boys. They're still Harvin Gurv Sira to me. Damn it. Still real to me, damn it. So they came out, and then Kevin Owens came out and was like, what's with all this crap? I'm the real, true champion and face of this place. And, of course, you hear that, and you're like, oh, here comes AJ Styles. And here comes AJ Styles saying, I'm the real face that runs the place. Now I'm going to take the U.S. title. And then Baron Corbin comes out. He's like, I'm sick of all you guys talking. And then he didn't even get to finish up. Sami Zayn went, ha-ha, to the back of the head.
Basically, yeah.
That turned into a brawl. And then it was like, okay, guess what? You can't go one-on-one with The Undertaker, but we can have a 6-man tag team match night, players.
Basically.
Holla, holla. Holla, holla. So, I mean, yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. It happened.
It was a thing that happened.
Moved the stories along. I'm still on the whole Jinder Mahal thing. And we'll get to that when we get to the match. Next up was Natty versus Becky, which, God, I can't remember. I know that I can't remember the results. I know that the welcoming committee won. Natty won for the welcoming committee, and there was fighting, I think, between Charlotte and Naomi, or was that later on in the night? No, that was during SmackDown, I believe. And then there was a promo, I think, after the fact, where Naomi and Charlotte were arguing with each other, and Becky's like, "This is exactly what they want,"
Oh, I'm not ready yet.
Oh, you're not ready yet?
No, I was trying
I thought you were nudging me to say, "Oh, I'm ready."
Sorry.
Subtleness lost. Just like my point. Where I was. And then Becky was like, we got to stick together. If we stay divided, they will beat us. Hands in. And they did hands in. And they're like, yeah, we're together now in a team. So, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of all right. Maybe when they actually, start battling, hardcore more, it'll be better. But for right now, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Then Rowan battled Harper. And I believe Harper won that one, right? I'm trying to remember. I know I saw that. Rowan won that one?
Yeah, Eric Rowan won that, which surprised me.
Yeah, because remember a time 2 months ago when it looked like Luke Harper was going to get pushed into the main event scene? Remember those times? Yeah. Now he's losing to Eric Rowan. Not to knock Eric Rowan, but he was definitely the weakest out of the 4 guys who were in the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
And, it seems like they're not even going to try and give him a new gimmick. He's just going to be a silent weirdo freak who's just going to beat up people, I guess.
Yeah. Something weird.
So that's a thing. Yeah, sucks for Luke Harper. Unless there's going to be a Rowan Harper rivalry, or I don't know what the hell they're doing. But
I think it was just something for the two of them to do and to give Rowan something now that Orton's gone.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Orton is over, you mean? Wyatt is gone.
Yeah, that's what I meant, now that Wyatt's gone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then we had a Dolph Ziggler Shinsuke Nakamura promo where it was a much better promo. It wasn't Dolph being like, hey, you're Michael Jackson. Where's your monkey and your kids? Where's Blanket?
Yeah.
Is Blanket here?
God.
Are you sipping a Pepsi? Oh, that's a bad subject. But no, he actually, like, ripped into the fans for betraying him and latching on to Shinsuke after all these years, which is where I think he really should have gone from the onset. Because I really felt like, you could feel and sense Ziggler's frustration and anger since he came to SmackDown Live, and how how things haven't worked out for him since then, and how he wants to beat up Shinsuke because Shinsuke is the new kid on the block and everybody is in love with him. And Shinsuke's got that swagger, Swagsuke as they call him.
Ready to start, by the
And
way.
then Shinsuke came out and was like, let's go, I'll go over to here. Well, actually, we'll go here for the opening scene, and then once you run down the card, we'll go to the full screen. And then Shinsuke came out, and he was like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Basically.
And then he kind of kicked Ziggler's ass, if I recall correctly, right? They
Yep.
fisticuffs ensued.
Square in the tish.
Oh God! So that was cool. It actually made me more. That was actually probably the best part of SmackDown for the week, because it actually got me more invested and actually made me be like, hey, looks they actually did something to let me like get behind Ziggler as a bad guy.
Yeah. And I like when they have Ziggler do actual stuff instead of trying to do things like, oh, Michael Jackson, and they actually have him speak in a serious manner.
When I see stuff like that, it's like it's the writers trying too hard to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, not that they can't be funny. It's just a situation where they're trying too hard to be tongue-in-cheek funny.
Yeah.
And it just reeks of stuff like Suffering Succotash and like those really bad Roman Reigns promos.
Yep.
And then after that, we had a Breezango promo, which was pretty entertaining.
Yes.
Where they went and were fashion policing, and Fandango was dressed up as Sherlock Holmes.
They were investigating the face paint on the floor.
Yes, and it turned out to be the Ascension shouting and raving with their face paint on there. It was good.
Looks like we're gonna have to open the Ascension file again.
By the way, I like how they've started calling the Usos the Uggos. Very nice, easy,
Yes.
quick, simple connection. And then they won their match, and then the Usos came out and cut one hell of a goddamn promo. Like, this was a night of heel promos, sans Jinder Mahal.
I think WWE would be best sans Jinder Mahal.
But like the Usos came out and I could feel that fire. Like, that was a visceral promo. That felt amazing. That is, like, I saw that and I was like, for the first time in a while, like, I felt like I connected with the Usos, and like I felt like, yeah, they are pissed, they are angry, they want to beat the crap out of.
That's why I'm happy that they're the tag team champions, because with their last few matches that they've been having that I can remember, they've been doing amazing in their matches, and I'm glad that they're finally getting a chance to go on the mic, because as we've seen from your former job of Up Up Down Down, they can definitely talk.
Oh, they've got the charisma.
Exactly, and they're actually being given the opportunity now instead of just being thrown in matches. I love that we're being able to see both their charisma as well as their in-ring skills now.
Yeah, they've got the charisma, and they're awesome dudes. And like the only thing I'm wondering is like, where was this against American Alpha? Because this would have been awesome against American Alpha, and I'm not saying that's on them. I think that's more of a like, maybe like a booking and writing type thing. Like, where was this kind of promo for them when they first turned heel?
What it was, in my opinion, with all this, is that a good amount of this storytelling between American Alpha and the Usos and all that, when the titles changed hands to the Usos, was around WrestleMania. And remember, tag titles didn't even get a mention at WrestleMania. Not the entire weekend. Not even on Raw and SmackDown the following nights. Not a single word even about the SmackDown tag titles.
I will say one thing. If anything about this segment where the pre-match promo Breezango, the match, and then the after-match promo by the Usos did anything for me, like, at first I was like, awesome, Breezango, it's two really hard workers who deserve, like, something, and I'm glad they're getting a title shot. I kind of want them to win the title. And then the Usos cut this promo. I'm like, well, crap, that was amazing. I want them to hold on to the championship. So now I'm like, I don't know who I want to win, and I'm actually going to be genuinely invested and entertained and not know who's going to win this match. I mean, if I was going to make a prediction right now, I think the Usos are going to win because they're like the more franchise, longer tenured kind of guys.
Related to The Rock.
Well, that has nothing to do with it. But like, I'm actually like, I kind of want both guys to win, and like, I'll be happy and yet sad either way. So it's like, it's awesome. Like, if that's like, I haven't like, there aren't a lot of programs like right now in WWE. I feel where like I'm that like invested in both people on both sides of the rivalry.
It doesn't happen too often anymore. Let's do a quick rundown of this card.
Yes, let's do that. We'll go full screen for you.
First match is Bray Wyatt versus The Big Show. Should I sim them now while I'm going through them?
Yeah, if you want to, and then we can just go straight into you playing your match.
Okay, so Bray Wyatt versus The Big Show, and Bray Wyatt wins.
Yes.
There we go.
He's got some momentum building.
Woo.
All right.
Next is triple threat match between current SmackDown Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Charlotte.
Alexa, shut up.
And Charlotte won. Next, we've got a non-title rematch between the now former SmackDown Tag Team Champions Gallows and Anderson versus the new Tag Team Champions, the Usos. And Gallows and Anderson, they pick up a win, building up momentum.
Ooh, wow.
And next, we got Samoa Joe versus The Miz. Samoa Joe won, thankfully. Randy Orton.
That's not nice. The Miz is amazing.
But so
Or
is
should I
Samoa
say,
Joe.
Should I say he's
No,
awesome?
Don't. Just no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that right. He's awesome. Just like Alicia Fox.
And you're just awful. Then we got Randy Orton versus Baron Corbin, and Randy Orton wins. And now we've got this, which I've decided is going to be to determine the number one contender for Ty Dillinger's United States Championship, a triple threat match between
you're simming it.
Dolph Ziggler, Tyler Breeze, and Luke Harper.
Ooh, who's it gonna be?
And the winner is
Dolph Ziggler.
So he'll get his rematch against Ty Dillinger.
And is that U.S. champion versus WWE World Heavyweight
we are having
Championship?
a champion versus champion main
Falls
event.
Count Anywhere match.
Falls Count Anywhere. Ty Dillinger, the U.S. champion, versus AJ Styles.
Dang. All right.
And if you want to go, I'm going to start this match now.
Go ahead, get that started while you pick your character. I will switch back over here. And then we're going to wrap up SmackDown by going to the main event of Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Baron Corbin versus Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn. Match was all right.
Yeah, it
Good.
had its moments.
Nothing special. But the big story out of this is that everybody hit each other's finisher on one another, but it ended with Randy Orton taking the $1 Million Dream, like
The Cobra
suplex,
Clutch Slam, they call it.
Cobra Clutch Slam, from, yes, I see. I'm switching. I got
Well, you
this.
got your hotkeys.
I
You
got
can just
this.
press
I know. I got my hotkeys. My hotkeys are good.
Oh, the
I got
hotkeys.
this.
Hot, 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 or cold.
They're cold. They're not hot. Even though they say they're hotkeys, they're not hot. And yeah, the fact that Jinder hit the Cobra Clutch Slam on Randy Orton and picked up a pinfall victory clean,
Yeah.
which just made me.
Yeah, I was not happy about that. Partially because, once again, I do not find that move impressive. He does not deliver it well.
I don't mind it. I don't have a problem
mind
like
the
you
move
do.
in general, but the way he does it, it is not a finisher. It's not that impactful.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. That's pretty much describing Jinder Mahal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ty Dillinger.
Oh God, I love Ty Dillinger.
He's so good.
He's so dreamy. What? I mean, huh? Who? What? What year is this? Huh? Who are you? What, can you blame me? He's a perfect 10. 10.
I can
10.
blame you, and I will blame you.
No, like, you're no fun. So yeah, that was the end of SmackDown. Kind of meh.
Meh.
Except for obviously the Ziggler Shinsuke promo and the whole everything with the Breezango and the Usos.
Just the tag team division in general.
Yeah, the tag team division stuff. Well, the tag team division stuff and the Ziggler Nakamura program.
Yeah, those were good.
Stuff. That stuff did well.
It was basically that plus one women's match and just the main event.
Yeah, everything else, for the most part this week, on the main roster shows was pretty much just felt like going through the motions.
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't anything to really complain about that much, aside from, like, the fact that I'm really not behind the whole Jinder Mahal thing, but,
Same.
But there wasn't anything aside from those two promos where like it was like, oh my god, that was amazing. I mean, those two promos were amazing, but I don't think those two segments, when you take two segments from one show and combine it into two shows, means that overall the week was amazing. The week was like kind of
kind of bleak.
And then we had NXT, which NXT was actually pretty good this week.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Aleister Black, that match with Cesar Bononi, it was short, but it was friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that they built up Cesar Bononi by every time Aleister Black hit him, he just got angrier.
Yeah.
And angrier until he just turned around and pop right in the goddamn kisser.
It was so good.
It's so good, and the pop for that was so great. Like, that was awesome. That not only did that, like, I mean, not only was that do wonders for Aleister Black, but Aleister Black's being billed as this guy who can just steamroll through people. And for Cesar Bononi to like get angry off of 3 of those hits and then get knocked out by the finisher, like, yeah, you got taken out real quick. But for a guy who's just debuting, that actually made against a guy who they're building to be like almost an instant main eventer, that was actually a pretty good way to debut him.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that'll do well for his character going forward. I've never seen or heard of the guy before. I don't know if he was from anywhere else or what his story is, but like I liked what I saw from him on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, went pretty well.
And he sold everything amazingly. Like he looked like he was out cold. Like he just got taken into next week.
Sold that like crazy.
Just took it and ragdolled. Then we had DIY versus Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss, which was its own thing. DIY came out and basically said, yeah, we do have the one-on-one tag title match against the Authors of Pain, and we're going to win it this time because it's a one-on-one rematch, and the Revival's not around. Which technically the Revival gave them their best shot of winning against the Authors of Pain at TakeOver Orlando, but we won't talk about that.
It didn't happen.
They said Heavy Machinery has to get in the back of the line. And then Tito Sabatelli and Riddick Moss were like, we're the future, and the line starts behind us. And everybody in the arena laughed. Yeah. They laughed. DIY laughed. Everybody thought it was a good time. And then the match happened.
It reminds me of a nice little pun that I saw not that long ago of, kind of off topic, but of a D&D meme where it was...
Ref? What are you doing, AJ Styles? AJ Styles just took out the ref, just like,
hey,
get out of my way.
The match is more important. But yeah, it was like a bunch of adventurers walk into a bar. The barkeep says, "Why do you have all your weapons on you?" And they respond, "In case of mimics." The party laughed, the bartender laughed, the table laughed, they killed the table, and a good time was had by all.
Yep, pretty much. So yeah, DIY obviously won. Looked good. Authors of Pain came out. They said some stuff. Was fisticuffs were had, right? Fisticuffs were had and DIY was made to look strong? Did it?
No,
or was it just...
it was Regal.
Regal came out and made the announcement, and then Paul Ellering was like, blah, 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 blah.
And then Regal was like, well then, ladder match. Booyah.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't. I totally went over my head. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's the second time to move. Bro, he reversed that move that way.
So then we had a we had a little featurette. We had a couple featurettes. We had a thing where we were told that Asuka was William Regal demanded that Asuka was going to defend against Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, and Ember Moon. And then we found out that Ember Moon strained her shoulder. Luckily, she's only out 4 to 5 weeks, which isn't that bad. But that unfortunately takes her out for TakeOver, which sucks.
Yeah.
But you can run off based on the promo of her in the arena. And the fact that it was Asuka who injured her by dumping her off.
Yeah.
Storyline wise, you build up the fact that Asuka injured her to get her because she's afraid of her. You can build on that story when she comes back. So the program isn't hurt that much. It just sucks that Ember Moon's not going to be in that match.
Yeah.
Then they had a little thing getting people behind Ruby Riott, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Showed you who Ruby Riott was. So that was awesome. And then Nikki Cross cut a pretty funny promo.
Yeah,
it was a sit-down interview, and she was just like yelling and snapping at people and like playing with all the microphones and just saying, Ruby, oh, Ruby.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good job to build all 3 ladies and help build the story. And then we also got a nice little package on Drew McIntyre. Not as good as Austin Aries' package, obviously, but it was good. It just went over like how Drew, he was the future, of WWE and former Intercontinental Champion, and now he's back, and he's gonna basically just wreck stuff. He's coming for the NXT title, all that good stuff. Then we finally went to the main event, which was probably the best wrestling match of the week, which was number contendership match for the NXT Championship between Hideo Itami and Roderick Strong. Really good match. Got this is awesome chance, well deserving. But as I expected, Hideo won the match with the GTS, but it went long. Like it took up I think that was like a 15-20 minute match they had on the show.
Yeah.
And Roderick took Itami to the limit, and when it came time for him to take his finisher, he was still pushing off him and trying to swing for the fences on him, even though he was staggering. So I think Roderick came out looking great in this, which is good for him because I want to see him do well, and they're finally starting to give him a personality and a gimmick, even if his personality and his gimmick is him, who he is in real life. Steel chair, ouch.
Looks like AJ Styles done playing around.
Yeah. He, Ty Dellinger don't want none. The hits that keep on coming. So we will be getting Hideo Itami versus Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship at Chicago, which, to be honest with you, I would love to see Itami win, but I feel like you can't take the title off Roode just yet.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got to have it for a while, and I don't know who's going to take it off him. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre who takes it off of him.
I'm guessing either Drew or maybe Roderick.
Yeah, which sucks because Itami's been in development for so long in NXT for so long that I'd love to see him win it.
I could see them, having him lose and then move him up to the main roster.
Yeah, I think he's still got another year away. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him beat, maybe he loses to Roode, and then and there you go. AJ Styles wins. You see him lose to Roode. Maybe McIntyre wins, and then maybe McIntyre faces off again, beats Roode off. Roode goes up to the main roster, and then maybe McIntyre turns heel when Itami tries to challenge after that, or something like that.
Maybe
We'll see. But that's what I think is going to happen. So aside from that, at NXT TakeOver Chicago, we've got, like I said, the triple threat match of the Women's Championship. And then we've got the
tag team match for the NXT tag titles.
Yep.
And then we've got the match that I am most excited for. I am so excited for this match.
And what match is that?
The match that was recently announced of Tyler Bate defending the United Kingdom Championship against the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne.
That's going to be sick.
A rematch of the finals of the United Kingdom tournament. And I am so excited for that match because I'm a fan of both guys.
I think Pete Dunne's going to win.
I think he will too.
I think Pete Dunne's going to win because not that Tyler Bate isn't good. And I just feel like just from what I've seen of them from the NXT, from the UK tournament, and from seeing them appear on NXT over the last few weeks, Pete Dunne is oozing charisma. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Bate is good, but he's not really oozing charisma on the level that I feel like Pete Dunne is.
You see, here's the thing that I think about with Tyler Bate though. He doesn't ooze as much charisma right now. But the one thing that I want to point out about him is I feel like part of the reason that Tyler Bate was the person to be the first ever United Kingdom champion is I think not necessarily Vince, maybe Triple H or someone saw Tyler Bate and said, we want him, we've got big plans for him. Because he's a really jacked guy who has...
Super young. Still a teenager.
So, yeah, he's 19 years old, and he's still got a good amount of charisma, and he's this good in the ring at 19 years old. I feel like they want to grab him up, give him something, try and keep him around, and build him up to do something big.
I'm sure they'll keep him in the UK title picture for a while, and I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two, he's full-time on NXT competing for the NXT championship, and then in 3 or 4 years he's up on the main roster.
Yeah. I could see them having big plans for him, but I'm really excited for that match because I really like both guys, and I'm really hoping that I'll be happy with whoever wins, but I'd be very happy if Pete Dunne won because I'm a big fan of Pete Dunne.
Yes. So that's going to do it for our wrestling portion as we have wrapped up all of the wrestling.
Well, there's one last thing I'll mention.
NXT or
just
WWE.
Very quick thing.
What up?
Rock is considering running for president in 2020.
Oh, yeah, that GQ article. We should briefly talk about that. I read that. That was a really good article.
Yeah.
And it made me fall in love with The Rock all over again. Like Dwayne Johnson just seems like the most amazing person. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he's so friendly, so sociable, so quick to think of questions to ask, get to know people, being able to remember all that stuff, being able to follow up with people like that.
Yeah.
Being so nice and open and friendly, and like he seems like a very he seems like a very kind, friendly, but also intelligent, level-headed, and like considerate dude. Like he seems like he really thinks, and he's I don't want to say methodical, because that's not the right term, but like calculating, I guess. Like he calculates all different factors and thinks about what he's going to say before he says things, and not just for political reasons. I think it's like him actually trying to like figure out
human being.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So it was good. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out the article in GQ with The Rock. You can read it for free online. I highly recommend you do it. It's a long one, but it's a good one.
All right, let's get into the Vidya games.
The Vidya games. I'll let you take the lead on these, since I took the lead on the SmackDown stuff and NXT stuff.
Okay. So first thing that I'm going to bring up, which I put in here because I know how much you love the game, PlayerUnknown Battleground. Mm-hmm. They recently did a charity invitational that rose just under $225,000 for charity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. They had people donating money to the cause, and it's to get new equipment and technology and software and stuff to help kids cope with some of their treatments that they have.
That's good. It's a very good cause.
Yeah.
I'm still addicted to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I played last night. I played some solo matches. Then one of my frequent followers and friends, I've known him since I was doing 2K16, the early days of 2K16, my career with Up Up Down Down. I used to communicate with him all the time. I played with him last night. Edge, EDJE.
Interesting.
Yes, he is Edge Swift on YouTube, I believe, and he's Edge, and I can't remember his numbers. Sorry, Edge on Twitch. I played a couple games with him. We had fun. I made it into the top 10 on a solo game or two last night, and then we made it in the top 10 in a duos match last night. And then we also had a game where we died really quick because somebody was hiding behind a tree by a buggy, purposefully. I ran for the buggy. I died. The guy drove off the buggy. Edge went to go get another car. He accidentally thought that F was push to talk. F is the get out of the vehicle button. And he died because he jumped out of a car at full speed.
It's always a fun way to go. Yeah, I've been seeing this game blow up. Like, I know Polygon recently did a live stream. They had a group of people together doing like a little squad thing in the game.
Polygon's been doing live streams. Kotaku's been putting it in their highlight reel videos. Giant Bomb's been live streaming it. I believe IGN's been streaming it and doing videos. They just put out a video. I didn't see it, but like apparently one guy got 11 kills and like won a game with 11 kills in like 2 minutes.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous. That is like...
That's insane.
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes. Like you get 6 minutes to gather resources before the first zone starts to close in on you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the hell he did it. Maybe he just got a car and like a bunch of people like ended up killing themselves, and he ran over a bunch of people.
Look, all these people are going for supplies. Let me just run them over.
Yeah, right. Oh man. So yeah, that's really cool. I love PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. One of my favorite games to play. I want to play it more on Twitch, and I want to try and get some sort of highlights, like more highlights onto YouTube, and potentially like make like clip package highlights instead of just like hour long. Like this is my live stream.
Yeah.
Here's the full live stream. So, but yeah, definitely successful. Before we move on to the next one, there's a video game story that I want to touch on quickly. Video game meme story. Okay. You know, it turned 12 years old. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday.
What?
All right, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Fucking Leroy Jenkins.
God damn it, Leroy. That infamous World of Warcraft raid video. If you guys have never seen it, go watch it now, because where have you been? It's one of the most infamous internet memes in history. 12 years ago, when WoW was in its heyday, and there were giant, like, 20, 30, 40-man raids or whatever, this one clan was getting ready to play. One guy was recording it. They were all on a massive TeamSpeak server, and one of their guys, Leroy Jenkins, while they're in the middle of like going over the strategy for this giant boss, where they literally calculate that there was less than a 3% Like there was less than a 1/3 chance that they would survive if they were all coordinated and doing everything right. This guy Leroy Jenkins just says, "Let's do this. Let's out the Leroy Jenkins scream," and runs into the boss room, effectively getting his entire clan slaughtered.
Yep. Good
Hilarious. So I just wanted to bring that up. Happy anniversary to Leroy Jenkins.
Good on you.
And I'll let you take back over.
Nintendo has recently released some details for their plans for E3 this year. Apparently, main thing they're going to be focusing on is the new Super Mario Odyssey.
Obviously.
And they're also going to be doing another Treehouse Live, which is going to be having tournaments of their games ARMS and Splatoon 2. Mm-hmm. And during the course of the weekend, they're going to be talking about games that they're going to be having come out over the course of the year for the Nintendo Switch. And they're going to be doing all their live streaming between June 13th through June 15th. So basically 2 full days of constant live streaming.
What days of the week are those?
I do not know.
Sounds like that would be the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the actual show, but I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah. That sounds right.
But yeah, it's to be expected. I mean, I want to see more of Super Mario Odyssey. This looks interesting. ARMS is coming out at E3, so obviously it'd be good for them to show that stuff. Splatoon 2, I think, is coming out what is it, this fall, or is that coming out this summer?
I don't know.
And I'm interested to see what else they have coming out for the Switch in the near future, because outside of the Mario game, ARMS, and Splatoon, we really don't know anything.
Yeah.
Of what's coming out. We don't know if a Metroid game's in the works. We don't know what's coming out with Super Smash Brothers, Mario Party, all the other big franchises.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know a lot of people are hoping for an announcement of a
new Metroid.
Metroid, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think there's been a Metroid game since Other M, which was a atrocious disaster.
That
was back in 2011, I think. Other M came out, or 2012. So it's been a long time since a Metroid game's been out.
Yeah.
And now let's move on to the big AC news, not Atlantic City.
Yeah, it's the news that I've been for the last couple weeks saying that I think it's going to happen, actually.
Yep. Well, for years, everybody's been clamoring for this.
Yeah, true. But there were some recently leaked screenshots, apparently from an employee of Ubisoft, about the new Assassin's Creed game, which he said is going to be titled Assassin's Creed Origins, which he also stated is going to be a prequel, and with the way the image is set up, it appears as though the game will be taking place in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt.
Mm-hmm. No risk.
Yes. So yeah, I think it's awesome. It's been a while. It's been long overdue. A lot of people have been clamoring for an ancient Egypt game in the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Yeah, people really want to run up them pyramids.
Yep. I'm
gonna call this now. I'm just gonna say this now. If this is the game, I'm going to take a wild guess and say there's going to be some kind of quest involved in the game that somehow involves your character accidentally breaking off the nose of the Sphinx.
Maybe. I thought you were gonna say that they were gonna have one of their classic dungeon-y tomb platforming sequences inside the pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. If not in Giza, a pyramid, but
yeah. But it's very interesting. Apologies. And I know you were saying that people believe it's a prequel, though we don't know what to. If it's a prequel to the Desmond Miles story, just the fact that, because it's ancient Egypt, it takes place before even the Crusades in Altair, so it's the earliest we've ever gone before. Mm-hmm. And the title Origins is interesting because is it the origin of the Desmond Miles ancestry? Is it the origins of the assassin order and the Templars, mm-hmm. or what have you? Because like I was telling you before, it'd be cool if it was the origin of the orders, but that kind of makes me feel left out. Makes me kind of feel a little bummed because I actually wouldn't have minded seeing an Assassin's Creed game dealing with the Mesopotamians, the Mesopotamians and the Babylonians. Yeah, the first ever civilizations. But I'm excited. I've wanted to see Egypt in an Assassin's Creed game. A couple other things that I learned apparently from rumors and people on the inside who are making reports and claims, mm-hmm. is that apparently it is the same team that made Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 4, which was the last great Assassin's Creed game.
That.
Not to knock what What was the name of the one that was set in the Industrial Revolution in England, in London? What was the name of that
Syndicate?
one? Yeah, not to knock Syndicates, because Syndicate was good, but it wasn't great. Like, Black Flag was jaw-dropping great.
Black Flag is the last one I played in full. After that, I played whatever that one was.
Unity was...
Unity. I played that. I enjoyed the little bit I played. I just kind of lost interest.
I couldn't get interested in it. And Syndicate I liked. It's just other games piled up on me, so it ended up falling into the pile of my backlog.
Yeah, it was. Now that they've taken a 1-year break from Assassin's Creed, it might be nice to get back into it since it's been a little while.
Yeah, so there's probably going to be a huge, big reveal. That's probably going to be Ubisoft's big game of their press conference.
That and possibly one other game that I've heard about.
But we'll bring that up in just a second. I just want to bring up one last thing about Assassin's Creed Origins. People are also apparently reporting through rumors that the protagonist is going to be more of a like stoic, strong, silent type. He's not going to be what's the word I'm looking for? Eccentric personality like an Ezio apparently.
Okay.
So
whatever. They did that with Altair, and I thought he was good. So
yeah, so we'll see what happens. But like you said, Ubisoft has got to be really happy with that reveal. But they might have another reveal coming for another one of their franchises at E3. What is it?
Far Cry 5. And rumor has it that it might take place. That it's going to take place apparently in Minnesota, or no, Montana.
Yes.
Yes, and some rumors have it that it's going to be a spaghetti western style.
Set in the modern day.
Or it might just be you're a police officer.
Yeah.
In the modern day, so...
Yeah. Well, spaghetti western style set in the modern day where you're a police officer, a sheriff, and a band of rebels or a gang of outlaws overtake part of the state and cause chaos, and it's up to you to basically put a stop to them through vigilante justice, which sounds very Old West kind of anyway, a sheriff in a small town in say Texas or Arizona or whatever in the actual Old West, and then this gang comes through and wrecks the town and wrecks the region, and the sheriff is the only one who can stop them, so he goes out and tries to hunt them down.
Very true.
So it seems like they're gonna try with Far Cry 5 to make a modern day western, like a modern day western,
which I would be very into.
Yeah, and the reason why this is believed right now is that there is a team that is out in Wyoming researching and scoping out for a new video game, and the guys who did that, the previous work they've done researching video games and whatnot, have been for Ubisoft franchises.
Exactly, yeah. And they said it's going to be a big globally known series as well.
Yes, and there was one other clue I think about, there was
they were filming for a possible live action commercial for a game there as well.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. It's exciting for the future of Ubisoft, which is good because I don't know how Watch Dogs 2 did, but I didn't end up. I never got to play it.
I loved Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
too. I thought it was great.
Cool. That means that I don't have to pick it up or play it. I own it. I just need to play it. I need to find the time. But yeah, Ubisoft. I love Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite series because I'm a big fan of history and I just love exploring virtually recreated versions of historical cities.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. And then Far Cry. Obviously, Far Cry is always good. I'm yet to finish a Far Cry game, but I always do sink several hours into it and do always have a blast. So I'm looking forward to another one.
I have to ask you then.
What's that?
Do you know what the definition of insanity is?
Yes, I do. The definition of insanity is not going crazy while you wait 15 minutes for Pagan Min to come back.
Basically. Oh, man.
And then moving on to some unfortunate news with in the video game world. BioWare recently announced that BioWare Montreal has been downsized.
Well, they haven't announced it. Basically what it is word has gotten out that apparently they are shuffling things around there, and it's not so much that they're being downsized as they have taken some of the team that's been working on the Mass Effect games and put Mass Effect more or less on hold for now.
It's on hiatus now.
Yeah. And some people are saying that it's in reaction to some of the responses I got from some customers, but they're claiming, they're claiming that it's actually just a strategic move because of the fact that they're trying to get Star Wars Battlefront 2 out, and people working on a third-person sci-fi shooter, that would not be too bad to have help out with a sci-fi shooter. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that they're just doing that to have them help out with Battlefront 2 because they need the help, but a lot of people are thinking it's because of the reaction that Andromeda got.
Because Andromeda was not received very well. The story, people said, was meh, got good at the end. The animations are
wacky,
are famously atrocious. Mm-hmm. And credit to BioWare. They're gonna keep people on to patch the multiplayer and everything, and they have patched like a fair amount of the problems. But Mass Effect Andromeda was a prime example of not releasing a game when it isn't ready just to get it out for fiscal reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that game, even though it was all right, Mass Effect was known as a tentpole AAA surefire hit franchise. I mean, technically you could argue if it was still that after the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
But the name still carried weight despite the bad taste in the mouth from that ending.
There was still a lot of hype for the game.
And this game being meh really damaged that brand as a whole in all future games. Yeah. Now when another Mass Effect game comes out, people might be hesitant and not be willing to jump on to buy it and might be like,
exactly.
Well, Mass Effect 3 was great. The ending just kind of sucked, but Mass Effect Andromeda was just meh all around. So, do we really want to put our money into this?
Yeah, exactly. Instead, they could be putting their money into games like Overwatch.
Ooh, nice segue.
Thank you. So apparently there was some data mining going on with Xbox One in regards to Overwatch, and people have revealed that apparently there's definitely going to be, well, according to them, going to be an anniversary event for Overwatch for their 1-year anniversary, as well as a Game of the Year edition of the game, which will give people, I believe it's 10 extra loot boxes for purchasing it, as well as something involving getting Tracer for Heroes of the Storm, mm-hmm. and getting a baby Winston as a pet in World of Warcraft. Is it
Tracer for Heroes of the Storm? Because I got Tracer for free in Heroes of the Storm.
Apparently something about Tracers for Heroes of the Storm. That's all I know.
Maybe it's Tracer skins for Heroes of the Storm, because Heroes of the Storm, they have skins for each character.
Yeah.
It's cool. Unfortunately, it wasn't linked to whether or not Doomfist is coming with the update that a lot of people are just speculating. Wild speculation.
Let's hope. Terry Crews, come on.
But yeah, it'll be cool. And it's also believed that, you mentioned the anniversary event, right? In addition to Game of the Year?
Yes.
Yeah, so
they saw traces of anniversary event loot boxes that will have exclusive skins, sprays, icons, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. So. Which would be really sweet. I imagine a lot of victory poses with characters holding out birthday cakes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping at the very least that it's something, the event itself is something centered around story of Overwatch. Because that's one thing that a lot of people loved about this last event, mm-hmm. is they actually started getting into the story of Overwatch. And now that it's been
cool. Uprising was
year,
cool with that.
It'd be nice to see if they have something where the event is based off of some kind of larger event that happens in the Overwatch universe. Mm-hmm. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Also, now that I've been quietly brainstorming anniversary stuff in my head, I really, really want a player of the game, which is victory, or player of the game or highlight intro of Bastion holding up a cupcake for the bird to peck at and eat. I don't know why I had to act that whole thing out, but you started it and I wanted to finish it.
That'll be interesting to see it with the Year of the Rooster.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Let's not. Let's just. I'm staying away from that.
All right. Next thing to talk about, something I am very excited about. Divinity Original Sin 2 is going to be coming out. And because I reached a stretch goal for the Kickstarter, they're adding a Game Master mode to the game, which basically is making more or less an actual video game version of D&D, where it's more or less with D&D. For those who don't really know, you have the one person, the Dungeon Master or Game Master, whatever you want to call him, who basically comes up with the entire story and encounters and controlling the enemies and NPCs and things like that for a game. You have a bunch of players playing the game and going along with however the game master sets it up. And they actually have a mode in this game where you would have one person who can edit anything in the map and let these players play through, and they could throw random things at you, they could change things up, and if you want to do things that normally a game wouldn't allow you to do, you could just talk to the game master and say that you want to try something. They'll give you a role to try and do in the game, and if you succeed, they'll allow you to do it. But it's just a really interesting concept of how you can edit this entire game on the fly while people are playing it and customize it however you want. And apparently it's going to have like 200 something maps when it initially comes out, and you'll be able to make your own maps for the game.
Oh, wow.
Edit the maps. It's just insane for people like me, and it's kind of like Halo's Forge mode being brought to Halo, but like if you're actually in the middle of playing an online game and being able to do it all at the same time.
Yeah. It's cool. Like, I love me some D&D, and just the idea of being able to play like Dungeon Master almost.
Yeah.
And play like a D&D campaign in video game form, and the game being able to program and do that is pretty sick, pretty awesome. So I didn't know. I've heard of Divinity Original Sin. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't even know Divinity Original Sin 2 was a thing. But now that you've like told me and told everybody here about the Game Master mode, like it's definitely on my radar now.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna be keeping an eye out for it. Ugh.
Something I'm getting excited for.
And then we're gonna end, unfortunately, on a bit of a down note.
Yeah, kind of like wrestling in general this week.
Oh, that's not true.
Well, for SmackDown at least.
I guess. Square Enix has decided to drop the developers for the Hitman series, IO Interactive. They claim that it was due to poor sales, I guess, from the Hitman, the way they did Hitman last year, the episodic series, which sold well and reviewed well, but I guess not well enough up to Square Enix's standards or what they had projected to shareholders. So they are dropping the studio, which is unfortunate. Hopefully not a lot of people lose their jobs. Like you stated in here in our notes, Square Enix is working to help out the studio to find new buyers and new developers who will take them in and take over the studio. However, we do not know if that means whoever buys IO also buys the Hitman IP, or if IO leaves to do something else for another publisher or developer, and Square Enix absorbs the Hitman IP to be developed by other companies that they own, subsidiaries.
Hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, it would suck for IO because they've been working on Hitman since the series started.
Yeah,
but it could be a blessing in disguise. They could end up coming up with a brand new IP that could be as popular, if not more so, than Hitman.
True.
So long as they get picked up and they don't have to suffer a lot of losses, or they don't just get bought out for their IPs or something and get dismantled or whatever. So long as everybody still has a job, they find a new developer publisher to hire them, and everybody gets to keep their jobs, I'm happy.
Same here.
So, yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that story.
No, not really.
Or
I mean,
anything else?
it's a little bit of a shame that this is happening, but hopefully it all ends well for everyone involved.
Yes, we all want happy things because we're getting close to a happy time in video games with E3. Yay! Woo! Big stuff, big news, big reveals, all different kinds of stuff. Yeah. Also, guys, for next week, this isn't an E3 thing, but next week on Thursday's the 18th, correct?
I'm not sure.
Or is it Wednesday the 18th? But anyway, on the 18th, Destiny 2 is getting its gameplay reveal live stream.
Ooh.
So you do not want to miss out on that. The first ever gameplay of Destiny 2 will be revealed. So yeah, Thursday. I believe it's noon Pacific, but I might be wrong. Let me try to look that up real quick. Give me this. Go home. Not you people. You're probably home already. That's going to be next week, so we're going to get to see what each class is like, what the new gameplay is like, maybe some game modes. I don't know if we're going to see some PvP. I don't know. We might get... a lot of people are speculating that we might get beta dates, which I'm not sure. because it might be over the weekend. I don't know why I just said over the weekend. It might be over the summer. A lot of people think it might be over the summer, July, August. I think they've presented. I'm just checking the IGN's thing. That's going to tell us when that's happening. I'm trying to refine my thought. I think because it's going to be PlayStation 4 gets exclusive access to the beta, like early access. I think what's going to happen is they're going to do the gameplay reveal. And then we're going to hear nothing until E3. And then Sony will bring them on to their stage, and the Bungie reps will say, "Good news. The Destiny 2 beta starts now for PlayStation users. Starts now this week, and then next week, the week after E3, PC and Xbox will get access to the beta."
Sounds like
that way everybody gets the PlayStation gets early access, but it's only for a week during E3 when a lot of people are glued to their TVs about gaming news and stuff anyway. There's all different kinds of gaming stuff going on. And then when E3's over, like Xbox and PC can jump in. It doesn't feel like they've been left out that much.
Yeah.
And then I would think that the beta will probably run until maybe like 4th of July, shut it down, and that gives Bungie 2 months to iron out everything else before they go into release.
Sure.
And the event on Thursday will be, again, Thursday, May 18th, 9:45 a.m. Pacific time, which is 12:45 Eastern time and 5:45 p.m. in England.
All right.
So
it'll come on just in time for me to check it out for my lunch break at work.
Yes. And so with a heads up on that will do it for this episode 6 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed listening and watching, because we enjoyed talking and playing.
Yep.
So
always fun.
Until next week, as my tablet falls, I have been Murpho.
I have been DMurph.
And we will see you guys next week. Is that by the way, is that our preview for Backlash episode?
Yeah, that should be our preview for Backlash, because Backlash will be that Sunday.
So we'll be talking Backlash, and we'll be talking Destiny 2 gameplay reveal, among other things, guys.
And NXT TakeOver Chicago.
Yes, and we will be talking NXT TakeOver Chicago. So you do not want to miss next week. Lots of good stuff for you guys next week for episode 7. But that's been episode 6. Take care, guys. We'll see you in a week.
Yep. Peace.
Adios.
Shut up and sit down.